Hi, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Pazan Academy. I'm Deanna, and today we have a special edition of Morning Coffee because we want to help parents that are facing some new challenges due to the coronavirus. Now, this week I came across an article in The Guardian by Selena Ribeiro, and it talks to an Italian family who has been quarantined for quite some time, and we're able to learn from their experience. We'll put a link to the article in the description below, but I want to talk about some of the highlights and things that you can do right from the start in order to try to make the situation a little easier if you're facing working from home and also have children at home who have to do their schoolwork, and everyone is trying to figure out how to do this without interrupting each other, in a way for everyone who is working under the same roof to be effective, efficient, and not trip over each other. So the first thing that you need to take into consideration are the kids, because this is going to be really different for them. They're uprooted from their normal routine just as you are, but you need to offer some guidance. What's going to matter on how you do this is the kids' temperament and also their ages. If they're younger, it's going to be a little more difficult than if they're, say, in middle school or high school, where they're a little more independent. There are things you can do right from the start, and this article gives some great advice on those. So the first thing you need to do is sit down as a family where everyone has some input, but you want to be truthful about the facts. And there are statistics out there about the disease, the numbers. In fact, there's a teenager in Seattle that has a great website. We'll put a link to it in the description below. But sit down with your family and be the voice of reason and talk to them about why everyone is working from home at this point, is to try to stop the spread of the disease, and that hospitals have a finite number of resources and we don't want those to run out. Once you establish the sort of reasoning why this is happening and the kids understand, then you can come together and come up with a contract, something that everyone contributes to and everyone has buy-in on how this is going to work. Now, some schools will be putting all of the information for the classes online. Students will be turning stuff in online, and that's one way schools are handling this. Another way is that they're going to be emailing out activities and assignments, and you may have to email those back in. So whatever the case, however the schools are dealing with this, you need to understand that and integrate that into this contract and the routine. Also, this contract may change. Things may change as more information is out there, as schools right now are probably scrambling to figure this out, and then once they come up with some plans, their process also may change. So know that this isn't set in stone, but it's something that's kind of a living document, and you may have to go back and revisit it. But talk to your kids. Ask them what their normal schedule is for their school day. Do they do math first and then history and then have recess? Because you want to keep that schedule. That's really important. So if they're used to doing math first thing in the morning, keep math first thing in the morning. And that recess time, now they may not be able to go outside if you have a yard, or depending on weather, or if you're in an apartment, that may vary, but that recess time is still important, because what that does is it allows kids to relax and allows their brains to reset, and then they can come back and really focus on their lessons. So make sure that you come up with a schedule and you implement these things, and talk to your kids and make sure that you try to keep it as close to normal as possible. So one thing that you want to avoid, and it may be tempting because you need to get your work done, is allow Disney Plus or Netflix or video games just to kind of take over the time for your kids, because you've got to focus on your stuff. And definitely you have to get your work done if you're working from home. But try to keep the kids actively learning, and there are different ways that you can do this. We're going to post some more videos in the next couple of weeks about different ways that you can integrate learning into everyday kind of home activities and different things you can do. But just keep them set on reading and writing, and if they're done with their math, then give them a free write. Tell ask them to write about the video game world that they like to play and do a thick description, which means that they describe every little thing that they can think of. But keep them writing and keep them reading, because it's going to keep the brain active in a way that they need to be active as if they were still in school. Just give them topics for free writing and say, okay, I'm going to set a timer and you need to write for 20 minutes on this topic. And yeah, that's only 20 minutes, but it can be helpful, and it's going to keep them thinking and actively contributing to their education. So this article had a really good idea about starting a coronavirus journal for the kids. This is an amazing thing that I really loved about a takeaway from this article, is that in this journal, it accomplishes several things. One, it keeps them accountable. So every day they have to write down all of the tasks, all of the work that they did. So there's an accountability piece there. It also allows them an emotional outlet. So they can write down their feelings, their anxieties, and all of these things that they may be facing that they may not want to talk to somebody about, but they're feeling, and it gets it out, so it's a healthier way of dealing with it. And so dealing with this anxiety in this journal can be really, really good. And then third, they're writing, and that is something that you want to keep them doing. You can even have them practice penmanship and have them slow down, because, there's a little more time now for these activities at home. Maybe it's a little more relaxed. And so you can really have them focus on improving their penmanship through some of these activities. We'll put a link in the description below with some websites about penmanship that you can use to have them practice. And even, I know some schools aren't even teaching cursive anymore, and maybe they start learning cursive. You can download PDFs of lettering sheets that they can practice even writing cursive letters on, and we'll put that in the description below as well. And the last thing I want to make sure that you're taking into consideration is space. Now, if you have a family, you're all under the same roof, you're not really able to go outside unless it's something that's really necessary. If you don't have a yard, or even if you do, there needs to be spaces for everything. So maybe the kitchen table or the dining table is now the schoolroom, and that's where you do your schoolwork. And then maybe another room is a place where there are games and activities that can be done as a family. But really importantly, everyone needs to have a space where they can go and just be alone, because living together all the time, you need to have that. So there should be a space, maybe it's the kids' bedroom, where they get to just have say, hey, I need some alone time. I'm going to be in there for a half hour. Now, if they're in there for an extended period of time, you may want to check on them, because again, anxieties are going to be running high, and emotions, and kids are probably used to routine, and now that everything is shifted, and so you do want to keep checking in on them, but you do also want to give them space. So I hope this has been helpful. We're going to be continuing to offer advice and tips and tricks and things that you can do, some creative ways to keep your kids learning and occupied throughout the day. For if you're at home also trying to work, you're able to do that as well. We invite you to share this video with friends and family. If you know parents who are in these circumstances, we just want to offer a little bit of help for these trying times. You can hit that notification bell so you get alerted when we have a new video, and we have links to our other social media in the description below. Thanks for watching.